My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
I got it wrong.
Finally, we're back to the 1001 Movies Challenge. It's been way too long since the last episode, so this year I hope to return to this series more frequently, so let's not waste any time. Today, we are reviewing Forrest Gump, a movie that there seems to be no in-between on how people feel. Just looking through various comment sections online, you'll see two types emerge. Ones who have only praise for this film, and others that think this movie is overrated. My opinion? Just like politics, the truth is often somewhere in the middle. Is this a great and iconic movie? Yes, of course. Does this movie's iconism rely heavily on pre-existing nostalgia? You bet it does. Now, using cultural nostalgia is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I often quite enjoy it when a film or television show does this. Like when Stranger Things pulls from 80s nostalgia and blends it with Lovecraftian horror to create its own unique atmosphere. Or when a sequel or reboot will do clever little callbacks to the original. However, in the case of this film, I can totally see where the complaints are coming from. Forrest Gump tries so hard to cover, it seems, all of American pop culture from the 50s to the 80s that it seems like it can be a little forced sometimes. Unlike with my example Stranger Things, which focuses its callbacks on a specific cultural time period, Forrest Gump calls back to literally anything it can pull out of its butthole, which can be a little exhausting at times. And so for that, I'll have to knock off a few points. Cultural references aside, Forrest Gump is the classic story of an unremarkable man who by sheer luck manages to live the most remarkable life. Born in 1940s Alabama, Forrest is of course named after a Confederate war hero, one that just so happened to go on to found the KKK. Yikes. However, Forrest thankfully turns out to be nothing like his namesake. With an IQ of 75 and a bad back, not many people give him a chance as a child. Being the subject of bullying at school, he only manages to make one friend, Jenny. The two are a misfit pair, with his mental handicap and her coming from an abusive home. With them needing each other so much, this is sure to be a friendship that never wavers and is definitely not going to become toxic at all.
Hi, Forrest. I know you came all this way to New York to visit me, but I'm gonna go do blow and have sex with a bunch of stockbrokers.
Okay, Jenny.
Yeah, about that. That's another common and legitimate complaint that people have about this film. Jenny is not exactly the most likable character. While it is true that she came from an abusive background, it is also true that she kind of took advantage of the naivety of a mentally handicapped man for decades. If Forrest hadn't stumbled upon so much success, I highly doubt that she would have many defenders. It seems that some people think that just because Forrest still managed to have a good life, this somehow makes Jenny's character more sympathetic. But the actions she took were still wrong. I'm not saying that every character has to be morally upstanding. In fact, many of my favorite characters often fall into a moral gray area. I don't mind Jenny's characters existing the way she is, but please, can we stop pretending that Forrest and Jenny have a nice, non-problematic love story? Please? Thank you. Aside from all of these complaints, it is incumbent upon me to also talk about this film's strengths. Tom Hanks gives a remarkable performance as the titular character. It's always dangerous playing a mentally challenged character, especially when that mentally challenged character has a southern accent. there is absolutely no room for failure. It would be all too easy to overdo it, which would make the performance cringe as hell, which would not go over well, obviously, especially today with the Twitter warriors of justice. You'd get never-ending accusations of ableism and making fun of mentally challenged people. Yet, Hanks is the soul of this movie. He is what makes or breaks this movie, and it is nearly entirely thanks to him that this movie is any good at all. Sure, you'd still have a job well done by the director, writers, musicians, sound designers, etc., but all of that would have meant little if the star of the show didn't shine his brightest. Hanks' performance is iconic and earned him his second Academy Award for Best Actor in as many years. The supporting cast all do an excellent job filling in the rest of the movie, but this is Hanks' show. And the screenplay, for all of its over-reliance on pop culture, nostalgia, does manage to churn out an unbelievable amount of famous movie quotes. Stupid is as stupid does. I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is. Me and Jenny goes together like peas and carrots. Life was like a box of chocolates. My name's Forrest Gump. Run, Forrest, run! So, in the end, I'm giving Forrest Gump a decent, modest score. Maybe it's because I'm younger that I don't rate this movie higher. I've noticed that it is mostly older people who adore this film, and younger people who detract from it. It's probably a generational thing having to do with different reactions to the different cultural references in the movie. For me, it is a decent movie, buoyed by a top-tier performance, and it's a movie that I might rewatch once in a great while, but I'm not really going to be upset if I don't get to watch it again for a long time. So that's my review for today. If you like the video and you want to see more, you see that big square button below the video? That's called the subscribe button, and if it's red, that means you're not subscribed. So you should hit that button and be subscribed, and I promise you that all of your dreams will come true.
Oh look, a button!
Huh? Private, don't!